مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of grade 9, I welcome you to a new session of the English language. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about Module 10, that's life, Lesson B, Grammar and Listening, page 109 and workbook page 108. Our objectives today are: number 1, change from direct speech into reported speech. Number 2, answer 3 questions after listening to 3 people describing their experiences. Let's start by talking about the reported speech, or the direct and indirect. In direct speech, we repeat the exact words that someone said. Once again, the exact words. We usually use the verb say, and the words of the speaker are put in quotation marks. For example, Henry said, Alex wants to buy a new car. While in the indirect speech, we report the meaning of what someone said. Once again, the meaning, without using their exact words. We use a reporting verb, usually say or tell, followed by that, which can be omitted, means removed, and the reported statement. For example, Henry said that Alex wanted to buy a new car. But what do we change in order to change from direct to indirect? We change the tense, personal pronouns, and reporting verbs, say and tell. And here is a quick explanation. We change from the present simple to the past simple. For example, Kevin said, I want to go bowling. It becomes, Kevin said that he wanted to go bowling. Pay attention to that. We change it I into he and want into wanted. The present progressive changes into the past progressive. For example, Andy said, I'm reading a novel. It became, Andy said that he was reading a novel. The modal verbs also change, like the following. Will becomes would. Sean said, I'll be there soon. It became, Sean said that he would be there soon. Can to could. Jane said, I can help you later. It became, Jane said that she could help me later. May to might. Frank said, I may buy a new pair of shoes. It became, Frank said that he might buy a new pair of shoes. Must to had to. Mom said, you must be home early. It became, Mom said, I had to be home early. Now, let's start with exercise A. Here is what we have mentioned earlier, so let's go directly to the question. When do we use reported speech? The answer is, we use it when we report the meaning of what someone said. Once again, the meaning, not the exact word. Question 2. In the examples above, which words have changed in reported speech? The answer is tenses, some personal pronouns, and the reporting verb said to becomes told. Say and tell are reporting verbs. Use tell before an indirect object and say when there is no indirect object. Pronouns and possessive adjectives change according to the meaning of the sentence. Tenses, modal verbs, and time expressions usually change as follows. Pay attention. Present changes into past. Past changes into past perfect. Present perfect changes into past perfect as well. Will becomes would, can becomes could, should stays should. In direct speech, this becomes that. In report speech, today becomes that day, yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before, last week becomes the previous week or the week before, tomorrow the next day or the following day, next year the following year. Let's go to exercise B. Complete using the reported speech. Number 1. I felt so embarrassed yesterday, Lisa said to me. So it will be, Lisa told me that she had felt so embarrassed the day before. Pay attention, we changed the personal pronoun. I becomes she. Yesterday it became the day before, and the tense past simple became past perfect. Felt into had felt. Number 2. I can give you a ride to the airport tomorrow, Fred said to Mike. So it will be, Fred told Mike he could give him a ride to the airport the next day. Number 3. We've never been to this restaurant before, the girl said. The girl said that they had never been to that restaurant before. Number 4. We'll go skiing together next year, Thomas said to Paul. It will be, Thomas told Paul that they would go skiing together the following year. Number 5. My brother washes his car once a week, Tim said. It will be, Tim said that his brother washed his car once a week. Now let's go to listening.
4. Listen. Listen to 3 people describing experiences they have had and answer the questions. Choose A, B or C. Ethan.
Last month, a friend stayed at my house because he had a job interview in the city, near where I live. We both went to bed early because he wanted to be fresh for the interview, and I had to get up early for work. The next morning, I got up and left before my friend woke up. A couple of hours later, I was in the middle of a meeting when I got a phone call from him. He was screaming at me, and rightly so. He told me that I had locked him in my flat by accident and he couldn't leave for his interview. Fortunately, he arranged another interview.
George.
I was at the airport and there were lots of people around. Suddenly, I saw a man waving at me. It seemed like he wanted me to go over to him. So, I picked up my bags and went over. When I got close, he said, "Can I help you?" I was confused. "Excuse me, you were waving at me," I said. He said he was waving at his friend, and then his friend turned up. I started laughing to make it look like a funny mistake, but I just wanted the ground to open up and swallow me.
Mike.
It happened last Monday. I was giving a presentation at the office to some important clients from Japan. It was going pretty well, but I was getting some strange looks from some of the people at the meeting, and I couldn't understand why. Anyway, during the break, I went to the toilet and looked in the mirror, and that's when I saw it. A piece of lettuce stuck between my 2 front teeth. I looked ridiculous. I removed it and I went back to continue my presentation, but I couldn't concentrate. Needless to say, the presentation didn't go well, and I have a feeling that I made a fool of myself.
So, number 1. Why did Ethan's friend miss his interview? And, as we have said, it's C. He couldn't get out of the house because his friend had locked him up. Number 2. How did George feel about what he had done at the airport? And the answer is he felt embarrassed, though he tried to make it look funny. Number 3. Why were the clients looking at Mike strangely? And the answer is there is something between his teeth. And by this, dear students, we have come to the end of our session. Until we meet next time, I say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.